He was limping.
You're limping, man.
Anyway, welcome back, 100 Proof Whitetails podcast. I'm wearing one of the old school contraband hoodies tonight.
Representing Garlock,
Yep,
the place that
the new
pays me so I can pay my bills.
the new sponsor of the show tonight. Brought to you by Garlock.
Which, congratulations to my coworker, Steve, the winner of the blind.
Yep.
He shot a beautiful buck there opening morning. I think we might have talked about that. And then I think it was yesterday morning, his wife shot a nice 8-point. Look at the thing had a massive body on it. Actually.
Very cool.
Morning, cool. His wife shot a.
And we're good on the audio side of it.
Perfect.
Perfect. Sorry if there was a little bit of overlay glitch on that, but Russ Jacobs tuning in. Hey guys, first viewer of the night, Russ. Hey buddy, how you doing? Nate said I grabbed some whiskey sour mix for Thanksgiving, and Hannah's grandma didn't want whiskey sours because she said that was a summertime drink. So
What is?
Nate's like, "Hey, you make up 2 whiskey sours tonight?" So I was like, "Yes, sir, I can."
Yeah.
So shook up a little whiskey sour.
So wow, in Hannah's grandma's defense, you do have Blue Moon, Genesee Citrus beer, and I guess you're buying.
Trying to keep
Is
the
it all like
summertime
on?
going.
Is it all on sale right now because of the off season?
It could be. That's
Yeah.
possible. I didn't think of
That
that.
is a hustle move.
I didn't think of that. No, I don't know. Maybe it's me trying to cling to the warm weather as we're finally getting snow that we've been asking for probably the last 3 years.
Cling to the warm weather because you killed both your bucks.
Yeah, I'm ready for habitat season, dude. I mean, this has been great habitat weather. We got some good stuff coming. Hopefully, Dad can get out and knock one down. We got a couple days left of gun season, and then obviously the late muzzleloader crossbow season. So, couple does still out there, a couple bucks. They haven't really been around, dude. I mean, looking at the Buckies, I mean, we really haven't had, too much on camera since. I mean, you're seeing them right now. I mean, like shooter wise, I mean, since other than Tuning Fork, who has got nothing but a single spike. So I was actually looking forward to having his cool antlers.
Tuning
The
fork.
Tuning Fork buck. That one that's like 3 years old. That's now like this.
He got wadded.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's one 3-year-old that might be kicking. I haven't heard anybody
There
killing
he
him.
is.
Yeah, there's one 3-year-old that's still kicking.
That's my deer.
I know, but I mean, we haven't had pictures of like Lucky since bow season, so
That's lucky.
that's Lucky.
Yeah, big buck.
Yeah, he's a nice buck, but he hasn't been around since bow, and he hasn't been around much at all this season. Other than that, dude, it's been like 2-year-old city. I mean, lots of 2-year-olds. A few of the 3s got whacked this year by neighbors. A couple 2s got whacked by neighbors too. And then a few bucks, like always, that I don't know who the hell they are. I'm trying to get back in time so I can pull up Tuning Fork. Because he was a really cool buck. Really solid. I'm pretty sure he's at least, I'm thinking he's a 3-year-old.
Unique.
So we will pull up a good old, hold on. Let me see if I can remember how to do this. And you guys tell me on the audio side of it if it works. So I want the window, this one, share. But I want this one to be with the audio. So let me know. I think the audio should still be working because I left the mic up on this one. But there's Tuning Fork. Like I said, dude, neck meets the brisket, heavy front end. This is the 2nd of November before he got broke up. Oh, and this segues really nice into here, since you guys can see my mouse clicker. Really nice neck, good heavy shoulder. Just nothing going on up top. I call him Tuning Fork. But breaking news tonight just dropped out of the outdoor news space. Exodus trail cameras and Exodus outdoor gear going out of business. I've been a proud customer supporter of those folks for 10 years. I never jumped on the cell cam train, but it sounds like the uh, the straw that broke the camel's back with it, from the little bit I listened to the podcast that they put out, was was around everything they tried to do coming out with the app and their self their uh, their firmware and stuff like that around the camera with it. Like there was maybe bad business decisions and bad. And again, I don't know all the details of it, but bad business decisions and then bad providers of those services to those guys overseas, the manufacturing and that stuff, over promising and way under delivering and making it a nightmare. And
Yeah.
I got to go back through and listen to more of it, but um, I'm bummed. I have a bunch of access cameras that are still going strong, dude.
What are those ones you gave me? Covert.
Culverts. I've always had good luck with Culverts. They've always been pretty good cameras too. Um, actually, got to
I
talk
don't
to.
have a single Exodus. So.
No, the one thing that I loved about Exodus,
I'm
dude.
not high end like you, Ben.
The one thing that I loved about Exodus, dude, is they were always Johnny on the spot. If I ever did have an issue with them, I think I only had one camera ever die. The other ones, you send it to them for $5 or whatever it costs to ship it out there. They ship it back. They troubleshoot and figure out whatever problem the camera's having, and then they send it back to you. So uh, they're just a good group of guys, and I'm sorry to see it go. You know, like I said, I always liked their products. I never got into their arrows and stuff like that, but their cameras, I always loved their non-cell cams, their traditional cameras. They were just bulletproof. I think they should have stayed with that lift line, dude. Maybe made some mods with it. I think that was their bread and butter, and they could have kept that train going. I think
Everyone wants cell cam.
everybody wants to sell in the newest, latest, and greatest, and a small company, dude, less than 10 years old. I mean, they didn't have, you know, if they got bounced like they did with the issues that they had, if you're talking a company, no, not to name any names, but like Moultrie or Covert or something, they got bigger backing, bigger pockets. They're owned by bigger companies. Exodus is just like a three-guy show. Literally small business. So that was something I always liked supporting with them.
So they're just closing the doors. They didn't get bought out.
Nope, nope, shutting doors by the first of the year. So um, sounds like Kodak not coming with the times, coming with the times, and too many products becoming less relevant. Yeah, I think it was a matter of they tried to jump, and this is, like I said, speculation. They tried to jump into the cell cam space, and it just didn't work with the products that they were getting from the overseas supplier. Being working, because I'm on a couple of the Exodus Facebook pages, and that's all it's been for like the past 2-3 months, is just constant issues with the cell cameras. And I never jumped on that board with the Exodus stuff, just because I don't know. I guess I'm still a little old school. I like going out and pulling my cards and you know going through it and looking at the serial killer board. Which, shout out to my mom. I don't know if you noticed when you walked in, the new columns are duct taped, so I don't erase them when I refresh my bucks. So I can actually keep my columns and then keep that half of the board for kids to draw
I
on or
like the
whatever.
purple.
Yeah, the purple.
Royalty.
I had a little purple.
Purple is the color of royalty.
It was more expensive to
There
make.
you go, Bo. Man, Bo just is against everything you are for.
Bo says Exodus cameras suck. Trust me. Yeah, I hear you, Bo. Yeah, I was not. I heard nothing really good about their cell cameras, unfortunately. Um, I still, dude, I have original lift cameras that I have painted black that are still out there working. And I bought those cameras probably 8-9 years ago now. Bo says the cell
Hi,
cameras.
Kaylin. Ben skipped you.
I'm not
Yeah,
skipping.
he's being
I gotta talk to my
he's
boyfriend, Bo.
he's a little Ben's a
I
little
play favorites.
Ben's a little scattered brain tonight.
I'm sorry.
He said, "Let's go grab a beer in the garage." So we go up there, and then he starts his truck. I said, "Where are we going?" And he goes, we gotta go to the gas station, get some beer. I was like, I thought you said it was in the garage.
I was like, yeah, but I don't have the kind that you like.
Yeah,
So
I'm
I
not
was just
happy.
thinking about you, buddy. Um, so also want to give a shout out to Kaylin. She posted the other day about new podcasts to listen to or whatever, and I dropped the 100 proof on there. She says, "Don't worry, I already listened to you guys."
Yeah,
So
thanks for the support.
thank you for the support and always listening.
You, your husband, whoever
Hmm
else. Great.
Everybody you recommended us to on that post, that was really kind of you. So thank you.
I actually
Um,
saw her at over the summer.
yeah.
It was at Rachel and Connor's. I think it was one of the kids' birthdays.
Okay.
I think she was there. I think it might have been Lane's birthday.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, and then this is good old, uh, like we were saying, good old tuning fork now is not what he once was, and this was like right before gun season, so he could be way different looking now. But he's pretty beat up.
Wow, with what he's got for headgear and being a 3-year-old, he's gonna get his ass beat.
Yeah. No, and then, I mean, we talked about it. I mean, Dono had a busted brow. Six pack had some busted brows and that big hole in his back. Which shout out to Dahmer's Taxidermy, Mr. Jesse Festa. Um,
Best in the biz.
after I had some questionable remarks said, I'll just say it once, just to poke a little bit, Jesse, um, about how I brought the deer to him in the state of stink that it was in.
It
Um,
looked kind of like serial killer-ish.
yeah, kind of wrapped up in duct tape
There's
from
a
the
lot
show.
there's a lot of duct tape involved. I wasn't happy about that.
Yeah. So, fair warning of advice to anybody that's taking a head in to get Euroed. Try to keep them as cool and in a dark place as possible. Do not wrap them in a plastic bag.
Or
Or
get them there as soon as possible.
I got it there as soon as possible. He was just down at camp hunting too. So I mean, it was just a multitude of factors. But
Eh.
Dahmer kept the fangs, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they look good in there
Oh
now.
yeah, dude. The fangs.
Uh,
If you guys are watching on the video, you should be able to see them. Sorry if I'm not doing it the greatest, but there they are.
yeah,
The
they look
upper
good.
canines, they came out freaking mint. You probably even see them from back here. I put them against the hoodie. Yep. Sorry, I'm working it backwards.
Just like little teats.
Yep, they're like little teeth on both of them. So yeah, so I think it was fitting that my wife said he wasn't pretty enough to mount. Because we might not have never known that he had the upper canines in there. And Jesse said, dude, he's like, they were rock solid in there. He's like, I thought about trying to pull them out with pliers, but he's like, I thought better of it. So,
I'm
but
about
yeah,
to pull 'em out
good
with
old Dahmer did
pliers.
did a heck of a job. And we were looking at it, dude. I think his whole beam is like twisted because if you look at it like this, like there's his G2, there's his G3, and there's his droopy main beam. G2, G3, droopy main beam. I think it like just like twisted or like almost melted off to the side with that broken foot. So, but yeah, I got the upper canines. So I'm gonna start checking all my deer. So they say one in, I don't know. Google said one in 10,000, but I think it's more common than that because I've seen.
Just because you shot one doesn't mean it's common.
No, not saying that, but I've seen. Counting him, I've put my hands on two of them. The other one was out from Savannah, and then I got talking to Jesse
Yeah,
and
but how
Allie
many
Mars.
does get shot that have it? No
That's
one looks.
that's true.
No one
That's
looks.
true.
Annie
Because
Mars had canines?
Allie Mars from last year, he said had canines. He said they weren't. I think Jesse said they weren't quite as like big as that. They were like just like little, just poking out. So maybe it was a younger deer. Maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know.
At least a
Or maybe it was an older
fangs.
deer and he was wore down.
I want one that
So
looks like a friggin' saber tooth.
saber tooth buck. Uh, as soon as you add duct tape, it's it serves serial killer. Yeah,
Yeah.
Thanks.
I thought Jesse might have appreciated that. He
Thanks,
likes
Hannah.
that shit.
Yep. Bo said that's
He
cool.
falls to sleep watching that show Dahmer and like,
Yeah. I just want to take some pictures of you.
man, you want to take some pictures of me.
Yeah. So, uh, other than that, dude, we got some does to whack. We went out for a buddy hunt the other night. I guess we'll recap that a little bit.
Ben
Not much
held
to
me back
recap.
again.
I did not hold you back, dude. Okay. So we get there to the spot
He didn't
and
hold me back. I was messing with him.
we sit the other field. The other last time that we did a buddy hunt or whatever, we sat the east field, and then this time we sat the west field.
Westfield is more productive.
The west field was more productive. We got some ideas on how to improve that for next year based on blind location and the crop that's going in, etc. Which we'll talk about that on future episodes.
Ben says, "Were you solid?" I'm like,
Yeah. Okay, so explain how the hunt transpired. So we went up and popped up a pop up blind,
next to a
little walnut tree, kind of
walnut
on the
tree.
break of a hill. So we weren't
The
silhouetted.
wind was vibrating the hell out of the. We had to hang one of our trigger sticks off of the handle so it quit vibrating.
Yeah,
That was
that was an adventure.
that was an adventure. Every time the wind blew, we both had to hold the blind down.
Well, it wasn't staked. We didn't want to make too much
I don't
noise.
know if stakes would have worked. Them little puny ones they come with.
No, that thing. If
It'd have
that
pulled that.
the way that frickin' place gets wind up there, dude, at the least, like that's gonna need like concrete anchors that they use for like the cell tower, the portable cell towers. So
So we're
we
so we're sitting there. It popped up. It's windy. Holding the blind down. I got to shoot one handed. I got to hold the blind down. And no, I'm
and
kidding.
my trigger stick's hanging off the side of the blind so the handle doesn't
Yeah, I
flap
made
in
sure
the
I
wind.
put Ben's trigger sticks outside, so I was the one that got the shoot.
Yep.
I made sure of that.
Yep.
But
So
no, it was good. It was a good sit. We had some good conversations in the blind. We pretty early. What was it, like 4 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock? A doe popped
like
out,
3:45. Yep.
and she kept looking back, and she was milling around in that
Looking back
cornfield.
in the brush.
And we were thinking, maybe something. Then she went the opposite way, not towards us, the other way.
Yeah, there's a little roll in the hill, and she kind of dropped over the back of the hill, and then
Okay.
another deer came out with her because
I didn't see that one.
the second one was darker, so I definitely knew it was another deer.
And then
Same direction as the first doe.
we lost them for probably till about 4:30.
Yep.
And then I seen a tail flicker, and I was like, man, that's it, right back there. So he gets his binos up, and
I can't find them because I'm looking up the hill,
yeah.
and Nate's like right where they walked out last time because I'm like, dude, I can't find them.
I
He's
was
like right where they walked
what do you
out.
mean you can't find him? You found the first one. I was like, but either way. So we're looking at them, and they actually start working their way towards us, and comes out there's three of them. And they probably got about 150, 160 yards away. And
Yeah.
the first one kind of tucks back into the brush. And the second one tucks in
A
behind
couple
her.
minutes later, yep.
And then
The third one kept looking back.
the third one kept looking back, and her tail was up, and she did a
It
little
kind of had
trot
that
thing.
little lope thing that they do when.
Thinking maybe there was a buck behind them pushing them. And we kept smelling some kind of deer smell.
Like, not like
I think they were rutting on that hillside. They just
pushing some deer around.
yeah. I just don't think the buck
Up on
came
that.
out. The buck never came into our view.
Yep.
But yeah, and
They could have been chasing like a storm over the back of that hill, and we wouldn't have seen them.
I don't know.
So I think a nice
But
little platform there, or like we talked, along the edge, I think would be a good place for a little blind there too. But
I want to see
we'll
the
see.
back corner.
I want to see if we can get someplace closer
that's
to
where
look
it's
at
at.
look at the whole field / back corner. Like maybe even come up between the drumlin, come up to it, kind of like
Yeah, up by that power pole.
maybe even a little bit further down than the power pole, but like tuck it in with a couple hay bales or something. You know what I mean? Brush something in where we come in through the drumlin between the two fields and then pop up to the blind either side. Really,
Yeah, I could whip one up quick.
I know we talked about the hay bale blinds.
I made that one blind. like
I
2 hours.
think this winter we need to build one of them hay bale blinds to give a go at it. I got some lumber in the garage.
I'm trying to build a barn.
Well, I know you got a whole bunch of 2x4s. You're
Not
framing.
anymore.
Well,
Use them all.
but
Get my barn done. We have a nice heated barn to work in.
yeah, that'd be sweet. Sweet.
Next winter we'll have a heated barn to work in.
Yeah. But nope. So I don't know if we'll get back over there with the smoke poles or not.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good spot to get back over there with the smoke poles. I might try to go shoot.
Brian gave me the boot.
I think we might go shoot. I might go shoot one of the barnyard does or farmyard does over there or whatever that hangs out by
Past
the house.
past 3 sits on my lease. I seen him one button buck.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell's going on over there.
So I don't know.
Past 6 years, I can count on one hand how many sits I've had where I haven't seen a deer. This year, I'm way past
Well,
that.
you got a new homeowner down there below, so I guess that's a good topic of conversation. So
Like how shit changes.
how stuff can change with the matter of like how a person uses a property. So historically, the old guy,
He didn't do anything. He just shot his gun and beeped at me every time I shot a deer.
yeah, but
He wasn't a
not
nice
like
old
there
guy.
every day, in and out, all the time around,
Man,
riding wheelers or whatever you were
well,
saying.
yeah, they got younger kids. Kids are a lot more active outside,
Yeah,
and they do own,
they own some
quite a bit
acreage.
of
Yeah,
property back there. So I mean, kids are out exploring the woods. They're doing their thing.
yeah, but it's changed how the deer kind of use that bedding area on that side of the property now, and the way they transition through that.
I haven't seen turkeys really on that piece in like 2 hunting seasons. This
Because
year,
that's the old man went.
yeah, this year turkeys are back, but deer are scarce.
Yeah.
Then
So
again, on the other thing on that I have against me this year over there is the other side of the hill, the north side of the hill, is still all standing corn.
yeah, you got a lot of neighborhood cover and
That's
dude, I
food,
mean,
cover,
yeah,
and I mean, all I got is a cut bean field, some 100 proof, and a clover field. I mean, right now with the snow and everything, they're gonna be in that corn.
yeah, dude. I mean, Dono was full of corn. Um, Ethan's wife's buck was full of corn. I mean, there's corn standing over there too, which I think is going to limit it. But we've knocked down a little bit of corn too, so I think that'll be good. Um, I got some 100 proof over at my grandmother's farm. I wouldn't mind going over there and trying to shoot one with a smoke pole. Um, so I guess we'll see. Because the only thing I really planted over there uh, was the outlaw plots and the soybeans because I got the okay from the farmer that he wasn't going to drill in his alfalfa this fall because he got the beans off a little later than he thought. So I was like, screw it. It's Labor Day weekend or right after that, I was like, I'm gonna put my leftover 100 proof out there in the beans. So, um, wondering how green that's still looking. I'm sure it's probably looking pretty good.
Mine's still pretty green.
Yeah. Well, yours is looking phenomenal
Oh, this shit's like over 2 foot tall.
along the edge there.
Oh yeah, that corner
Yeah.
that they're not coming out of now. Something with your 100 proof. Maybe it's your 100 proof.
Yeah, it's probably the 100 proof.
It's got skunk weed in it.
Yeah, stank weed.
What's
Both
that flower that deer don't like?
flour.
There's a type of flower they're saying the deer don't like, and I also heard that deer don't like the spearmint plant.
Mint.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I heard
I've
that
heard that.
it like deters them.
Yeah, I've heard that mint, peppermint, and stuff like that too for rodents and deer. I've heard that for a natural deterrent. Um,
I forget what kind of flower it was.
like that they don't eat, or like that they just like run away from. Like, what are you talking
Not like they
about?
run away from it. Like they don't touch. Like there's nothing about it that they like.
Oh, daffodils.
Is that it?
Yeah, they eat the shit out of tulips. They just don't touch daffodils.
Tulips.
Yeah.
What about lilies?
They don't really touch lilies too much. No, not a lot.
I planted a lot of lilies on my lease.
Yep, there's some nice little tiger lilies down there.
Got yellow ones.
Day lilies.
Day lilies. They're day lilies, not
Yep.
tiger lilies.
Yep.
Tiger lilies. A lot of
I
people
like the
get this
orange ones.
confused. All them orange flowers you see on the side of the road all over New York,
Mhm.
the right time of year, like August, are actually day lilies. They are not
Just
tiger
a
lilies.
just a orange varietal.
Yeah, tiger lilies are actually almost like a
That's the
exotic looking stalk with a bunch of lilies flowers all over it.
well, that's also the princess from Peter Pan. If you guys went to the Mid Lakes play, and that's Princess Tiger Lily. It's the chief's daughter in Peter Pan.
Tiger lily?
Yep,
That's her name? Tiger lily?
Princess Tiger Lily.
Hmm.
Hannah will be happy. I know that.
Larry
Bosa,
too.
Larry too. Bosa, did you guys get a lot of snow? My parents got like 4 inches tops.
We got a blanket over here.
Not even. I
Like
would
enough to cover.
maybe some grass. If your grass was cut short, if it was long like mine, it didn't even cover the grass.
Yeah, you're a little more south than me.
Yep,
I mean,
true.
I would say north of 96. Well, you got a blanket.
Yeah, throughway that throughway belt, and then Wayne County obviously changed. Last couple days, I've been down at a soil health conference with the oh, I'm gonna forget the acronym, but soil health conglomerate that's making an effort to increase soil conservation and good farming practices. Um, going forward with farmers. So working on building a network, building a skill set, and building up a knowledge of these programs that farmers can get assistance with, cost sharing for seed, and the benefits and stuff like that, and helping them weigh out the pluses and minuses of using cover crops in their farm management for whatever the crops that they're running. Um, so as I was going up and down for that, of course, people from all over the state and then also all over the Northeast, um, people that were out Buffalo way that were on the north side of Buffalo, same thing. They were up in that northern band of the thruway. They didn't get hardly anything. The south of Buffalo, southbound stuff, got dumped on. So the guy from Buffalo was like, he's like, hey, we got like 8 inches. He's like, it wasn't feet. And one guy out by Cooperstown said like,
I heard Tug Hill's got like 4 foot.
oh, the tug got hammered, dude. Like Jefferson County and all that stuff got freaking hammered. So thinking good thoughts for my family up there on their dairy farm in Adams or outside Adams, because I'm sure that that makes it a challenge, dude.
Oh,
Not only you got to milk cows, you got to move 4 foot of snow to go milk and feed cows.
I worked at dairy farm for a few years.
Yeah, I can't imagine, dude, going and
So,
clearing out the bunk lanes and stuff like that to freaking get at your bunk, let alone getting your in the barn to feed the cows to 4 feet, just freaking dumping.
trying to get rid of the shit
So
and the bedding.
yeah, yeah, I'm sure if you don't have pull downs and stuff like that. Oh well, yeah, shit, the daily stuff, the clean out stuff. But no, we've been pretty lucky. We got a covering out there. I might try to get out the next few days, try to knock one down with the rifle before uh, muzzleloader season kicks in. I actually got to shoot the muzzleloader at some point. I might bring that over to mom and dad's and prop a little target up out in the field and check her quick. Because nothing's changed, and I put her away clean last year. But mine likes being clean and then foul shot. Mine doesn't like running. Like my best groups out of that muzzleloader are like 1 to 2 shots into that. My groups get tighter. I've just noticed that it likes being a little dirty. She's a dirty girl. She's a little dirty. She's a little bit of a bad girl. She likes being a little dirty. But then fresh cleaner after the year and put her up for the year, and then you know. But after you get her all shot where she's looking good, put like 3 4 rounds through it. I clean it out good, and then I run just a test, a rough round through it is what I call it, and then I'll hunt with it, pretty much for 1 or 2 shots worth without cleaning it again. But usually after about 4 to 5, you're getting pretty hard pressed to push a round down that barrel.
That's running white hot though.
And run those white hots. True. I run the same load.
If you run,
Okay. I run the same load as you, but 50 grains less. Yeah. You're just a badass.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what is it? Triple X or something like that?
The white hots. Yeah.
No, not white hots. The other ones. There's triple something.
Oh, 777s?
Pyrodex and 777s.
Yeah.
777, Pyrodex, white hots. Triple
Loose powder, I
seven
mean, it all
and
depends.
Pyrodex. I'd say you're lucky to get probably a fifth or sixth shot. I actually experimented with this, and some of you might bash me for this, but I got 11 shots, 3 pellets, 11 shots with those white hots out of that muzzleloader, and I was able to cram it down until I could not get that bullet down. You can't do that with Pyrodex.
No.
And that white
It doesn't
hot,
burn near as efficient.
the white hot stuff isn't as corrosive.
No. Nope.
I mean, I'll shoot it
But
like
again,
in season, like I'll shoot it and I'll just clean the barrel out. Hey, if you got a little left, a little extra. But I just wipe the barrel out and maybe wipe off the pin and stuff. I mean,
well,
for
and
the most part, I don't really give it a full clean
I
till the end of
clean,
the. And I don't have an issue. I don't have any rusting on my gun. For some reason, you had that little issue.
and that
I
was
think it's manufacturing.
they said it was a cosmetic around the breech plug on mine. That's the only thing I've ever had with that gun, and it was like a small pitting. So I'm thinking it was some kind of imperfection or something with the alloy or whatever that they used on it or whatnot. But yeah, dude, you treat it a lot different than a regular rifle, too. Like you clean the nipple out good, you dip it in the parts washer or whatever, solution, at the end of the year to give it that good, real good clean at the end of the season before you put it up. Like
Yeah.
there's stuff that you do to them that you do different. And also, if my wife's listening or anybody that wants to buy me a nice Christmas present, um, I would like somebody to order me one of these muzzleloader pistols from CVA before they completely stop making them, because I know I got to put them on my pistol permit and everything like that. But if somebody shows up and is like,
You
"Hey,
used to not have to.
correct,
I should
here's
have
the
bought one when
money,"
you didn't have to.
I know. Here's the money for. I should have bought one. I had an option to buy one at a QDMA banquet, dude, for like half of what they are now. Like back in the day, I was like, man, why would I use a muzzleloader pistol? That's stupid.
Well, you didn't
And
even
now
use a
it's like,
muzzle load.
yeah, exactly. I used to use that little Hawkins flintlock that I had that I could never hit anything with because the thing would only go bang once in a while with the caps. So my wife's got an upside down face and a cross hands. No, I really wanna. My next goal now.
She don't want you to have
I've killed 4 deer with my
Yeah.
pistol. I want number 5 to be with that muzzleloader pistol that I've killed with a pistol. That's kind of my goal. Yeah, go buy one.
Keith wants to shoot a doe.
Yep. Keith says, "Let's go harvest a doe."
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We'll just get the blessing from Brian, and we'll all go to Grandma's, and we'll just shoot the whole harvest for the year quote over there. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, wow.
Could be. I don't know. Maybe I'll text my aunt and see what the herd status over there is.
Trying to override the old man. You can get yourself in trouble.
No, I just want to know where the deer are. I'm not going to ask her permission. I just want to know if she's been seeing deer out back.
Mm-hmm. Keith, I got a button buck.
Over at the lease that you saw the other day.
Andy Hall says hi, guys.
Oh, sorry. And then, Bo, we'll get to your essay in a second.
Yeah, Bo, we see you.
Yep. Andy says, hey. Hey, Andy. My wife says, upside down, and no for the muzzleloader pistol. Well, you see, I have all this extra money because I didn't shoulder mount either of my bucks this year. So I saved money.
They're not that expensive. What are they, a couple $100? $300?
I think it's 300.
Ain't bad.
I already got the scope. Don't even have to buy it.
You're good to go. Oh,
It would be nice, Hannah.
No.
No. That's too bad. Hey, I got a nice stipend coming from the soil health seminar.
Just be like, yeah, after taxes.
After taxes, I don't know where the rest of it went. Andy says, Nate, check your phone.
Oh, shit.
Sending you naughty pictures, must be.
He says, hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Andy. Oh, shit. He sent me some pics.
Oh, pics?
Oh, Andy got a nice one.
Some Some naughty picks?
Hell yeah.
Some naughty picks?
No, you got a nice buck.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
That's a good one.
It's been a little cold, so no 100 proof hoodie on.
No 100 proof hoodie this time.
Heck yeah,
Andy,
dude.
congrats, man.
Good stuff, dude. Love it. Love it, love it.
There, we'll give him a. I'll send it to you.
Gotcha.
Andy,
Do you want
gonna be mad if I show your
give a
picture on the show?
little flash of the picture? You can let us know. If not, that's cool. Um, we'll get to Bo's essay while we're waiting for Andy's response on this. So
Me,
Bo's
Sam, and Kenzie are here. Oh my god, my whole family is watching.
yeah, proud moments. Bo said, since you were just discussing good practices, I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Do you think having a doe permit means you must or should fill it in some areas with low deer sightings or a declining population? Is it possible that choosing not to harvest a doe might be a better decision? I feel like a lot of people think that they have the tag just because they should use it just because they have one. What's your take on this? I think it totally depends on your property. Um,
I
you
mean,
know,
there's a lot of factors into that.
there's a lot of factors in that.
Your experience with hunting, how many times you hunt a year.
If it's literally the only opportunity you've had at a deer, filling all your tags, I don't think it's a must for most people.
I've done it
Once,
twice.
like once, and I mean when I did it once, dude, I shot all four of my does. I shot my two sign overs and both my bucks that year.
Yeah,
I went nuts.
that's a good year. That's a fun year.
That's a it's a busy
Why
year.
does my eyebrow look like that?
Did you get your eyebrows done?
No,
Did you go over there and see Connor and have him do your eyebrows over there at Hair Zoo?
Connor does. No, wait. Connor is doing my eyebrow. Oh, you mean Connor, the haircut guy?
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about
Yeah,
our buddy Connor.
he
I'm
did.
like,
He did.
Connor doing
Dude,
my eyebrow.
he did
Yeah,
me up the other day.
yeah. Connor does a good job.
Solid.
Liza did me up.
There you go.
Yeah, like the fucking heat miser.
Mr. White Christmas, Mr. Oh, Green Christmas. Sorry, Heat Miser.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think and that's why we haven't shot any does this year is because we're still not seeing our big doe groups traditionally because we've got our population into a point where um we're not going out there specifically to harvest does in most cases because we just don't have to. We've got that number knocked down from past years of whacking 5, 6, 7, whatever does, like pow, 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 pounding a lot of them. Now it's more for us. It's if somebody's coming out that doesn't have the opportunity to kill a deer that year, like I've had some people come out and
And he says, "Sure, here you
um we have some, friends come out. Liza's come out before and shot a doe. Brandon's come out. Got some other friends come out. My uncle's come out. Folks like that want to put a deer in the freezer for that year. Come out and shoot a doe, and it takes a little bit of pressure off of us to have to shoot a doe. We also have in our area a fair amount of deer that get taken on nuisance permits, ag permits and stuff like that too, and some neighbors that also don't mind shooting a couple does for the freezer. We have a good deer population to sustain that, and our kind of benchmark has been doe groups of 5 or more. We're taking one out of it. This time in the late season, on some high quality unpressured food sources, it's pretty easy for us to see that number. I think our muzzleloader season, if people, were interested or if we needed to take a few does, would have no problem
go."
coming out.
People,
Yeah, like you peoples.
Brian don't want me out
Well,
there.
Keith doesn't have a muzzleloader, so after this weekend, he's done.
Brian made that clear. He don't want me.
Yeah, unless Keith goes out and buys a muzzleloader tomorrow.
All right.
So yeah, I think if you have a tag, you
I
shouldn't.
got you, bud. We'll work it out.
So
the Van Wesson.
anyway, we'll get to that one too.
But yeah, Bo,
They shoot it just because you got the tag for it.
I think some people have that mindset. I think some people they just like to hunt and they're gonna go out there as long as they have a tag. I think majority of people, it doesn't matter if you have a tag or not.
Mm-hmm.
They're just gonna go hunt and they're gonna shoot whatever.
Yep.
So I think the tag thing honestly is just fucking
Yep.
it's irrelevant.
Yep. I mean, can you really use this time of year as a good census of the deer population on your property? Because if you have the only food in the area, you know you're going to be drawing deer from a long distance. Yeah, that's something that we take into consideration a lot on our farm too, with more of the late gun season, um, muzzleloader season harvest of antlerless deer. You flip a coin, it might not be deer that live on our property during the normal season. Um, and also deer that come in during that late season. I think we retain a certain amount of them that fill in the gaps too of the deer that got shot during the other parts of the season too, or hit by cars. I mean, that's another thing too that we deal with because of where our property is located. I know we've lost three does and a buck this year that I've seen laying on the side of the road on our property that have been hit by cars this year. You know, it happens every year, dude, just because of the road we're on. And
Damn Chevys get them every year.
yep. Thanks, Nate. Thanks for hitting them, buddy. And Bob. Thanks, Bob.
But
My brother-in-law. Just a joke. Um,
I
but
usually
yeah.
hit one every year.
So, yeah,
I
don't
feel
say
like
that.
they're out for me
Don't
because
say that.
I kill all their friends and family
Don't say that.
that they it's like kamikaze deer.
So yeah. So for the good census of a deer population, I think um, what's worked for us is doe groups of 5 or more, and maybe you adapt
I
that.
think you guys need to take more does.
Maybe we do. But I think, like I was just gonna say, I think you could adopt that to a doe group of 4 or more. You know, if you're really trying to
I think
drop
the
some
amount of
numbers.
does you guys got on your property
It's not what you think it was. It's not.
inhibits the growth of your bucks.
Okay. I, totally possible, dude.
Because you and your dad both have been talking ever since I've known you about trying to get over that hump. You guys hit that like 140 mark, and it's like maybe you get a 150 every once in a while. And you're just trying to get over that hump. Oh, what's going to help them do that is obviously keeping them there, but the more food to them, having less
That's fair.
food stress.
Yeah. No, I think that's totally.
And the more they're running around and the more they have to compete for the breeding, the more exertion they're going to put into it, and the less they're going to put into lazy deer is going to be a big deer.
Yeah. And typically, also the the deer that's not aggressive and stuff like that is the one that's going to make it to be older, or the one that was. I mean, Dono was a nice buck. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he was a really good, probably 125 class buck.
Thought, maybe a little twist
Okay,
throwing into your scheme over there.
go ahead. Oh, the
That's what I just said.
too many does making it. He's out there. He's out there. He's fucking too much.
Yeah. That's why you got these 6-inch bases over here, 5-inch bases.
It's all girth
and
no
he
length.
dressed out at 155 or
It's
170.
not,
170.
It was 176, dude. Come on, give him some credit.
Right.
And yeah, he's more girth than length. I get it. That's he's a shower, not a grower. But no, he's dude. It's you go through
I'm not
the
bashing the bug.
no, I'm not.
I'm just throwing a point of view out there.
You know why we do it like that? Is so we don't have a bunch of people coming in and like poaching and creeping on the edges because they're like, oh, they only got 120-inch deer over there, dude. They don't got no giants. That's why we do it.
Oh,
Come on, read the room.
I thought the youth hunters got all your big ones.
Yeah, this past year, Crafty got whacked by the youth next door.
Come on, Andy wants us to fluff them up. Show us pictures.
Hit one with my '55 Chevy this year. Is what he said.
Oh,
Oh, come on,
no.
dude.
That's a nice truck.
Break my heart. Break my heart.
I
Andy.
bet it did break his heart.
Yeah. No shit.
Show Andy's pictures.
All right, Andy. I'll get your pictures. Keith says I got you, bud. We'll work it out for the Dan Weston. So how's that work? You
What is
want?
Dan Wesson?
That's
Whiskey?
my pistol. He wants.
Oh, ooh! You take Keith out. He smacks a dough. He buys you the pistol. That's not a bad deal.
We're working. Oh, so Keith's gonna buy the pistol, and then I hook him up with Dan Weston. Yeah, that's. Hannah's gonna be like, maybe
Oh, he wants your Dan Wesson.
he wants my Dan Weston.
I don't think it's gonna work.
And he wants me to take him out there and shoot him some
Yeah,
freaking
I
shoot
think
him some does.
You're getting the short stick back.
I think I'm getting freaking shafted here.
It's a $300 gun. One doe's worth that pistol.
I can hook him up. You want to shoot a doe for a pistol?
I hook him up.
You want to shoot 2 does for a pistol? Fuck it.
Is that
You
Dan
want to fill 2 doe tags by the end of the season? We'll go fill 2 doe tags.
for that?
We're
pistol?
gonna fill both your doe tags, and we're gonna tag out for bow hunt. Just because we got them. Less doe, your bucks are gonna travel further and run the risk of being shot by your neighbors.
They're already doing that.
Yeah, they are doing that. I mean, you're gonna always have that. They're gonna always travel. And whether it's right or wrong, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm right with this, but my mindset with the 5 or more doe
I'm not
harvest.
saying I'm right. I was just throwing a twist in there.
I like the twist, dude, and it makes me think critically, and it makes you really, look at what you got for the big picture.
You got to throw out some angles. You got to get different angles.
I like the
and narrow
angles.
it down.
I like it. So with our mindset of instead of saying we have 200 acres, we need to shoot because there's people that'll tell you
With how many acres of food? Not including browse.
just food plots.
Yeah.
Food plots about 11 acres. 11 acres of food plots. Mix of corn, brassicas, clover, cereal grains. Yeah. In some form of food plot. If you want to talk into our native habitat, dude, even more than that. So, I mean, our sustainability is there with total food. But also there's a lot of deer because of the food. So back to what I was saying, instead of saying like some management professionals might say is you have 200 acres, you should shoot, let's just say 10 does off of that 200 acres. We look at it like the only time that I want to necessarily shoot does is if it's in a big doe group that takes over a large footprint on that property. And this is just my mindset, not saying it's right or wrong. But we want to shoot that doe group that takes over a large conglomerate of a food source. Instead of having 2 or possibly 3 doe groups share a food source, you get a doe group once they get over that 5, 6, 7 mark deep, they'll take over that entire food source. And then you don't have the doe groups that pretty much relate on that property as well to these bucks. Now, yes, we've had, and it's going to happen, we have had some bucks get shot by neighbors. We've also tagged some nice bucks too. It just happens. We have a good deer density. But there's also some good survivors still, maybe not the age class that we want to make it up every year.
Some 4.5s.
No fives, but I think there might be a 4 still kicking, maybe. And again, you never know because of the openings in that neighborhood. You never know about that shy smart buck that might have got pushed out of a neighbor piece that might slot in there. It's always possible. Um, so our mindset, I guess, going back to it, is the more doe groups we can have around, let's just say, a specific food source or a specific bedding area, depends on where it is located on the property. The more segmented groups we can make on our specific property, the better we are because we can have those doe groups be on our property. Versus if we go out there and just say, we got to blast 10 does off this property and just start bang, 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 bang. We did that way earlier on. And now we're to the point where we are, instead of managing that, we're almost trying to just maintain that, if that makes more sense. And
So
our does are also showing that, where the does that we're taking are really only maybe 5, 6 years old at the most, versus some of the other pieces like my grandma's that we don't intensely as manage. Neighbor this year shot a doe, good solid doe, not a giant. I think that doe might be 10 years old, judged on her tooth wear, dude. Like, it's a different ballgame. When your average age is lower, it's showing that you're managing that doe population a lot better, typically, as a trend. Um, Bo says, "What are you doing on those food sources to separate those doe groups?" So just basically good adjacent bedding um, on different sides of the food source,
well, that and
essentially.
you have a road that splits your property.
Yeah, so it's not a 200-acre block. It's two
It's
pieces,
not just
two
a
sides of a road.
solid 200 acres
True.
with one 11-acre food plot in it. You have an acre food plot, a half-acre food plot, a 2-acre food plot, a
Yeah,
4-acre food plot,
to get to the 11.
and you
Yeah.
have bedding areas adjacent that you guys have built or were already naturally there, adjacent slash however,
Hmm.
to those. So how
It
that
it
works out,
facilitates multiple feedings
groups.
to multiple doe groups to a specific food source. Um, so I guess to
Now, do
separate.
those doe groups circulate through all that? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, times of the year. I mean, there. It's no doubt that doe group that might have been on a clover plot, might be slashing closer to a corn plot. And once you get, I guess once you get into, let's just say November and December, once you get through breeding season, the does will stack up together. They will herd mentality and stack up. You'll see that. When we're talking doe groups and those like kind of family territories, you see that more in that, definitely in May, fawning time. They are very territorial. Does more than bucks. You want to talk about the most territorial animal.
Territorial.
Territorial. Thank you.
Tutorial.
Thank you, Ontario County.
Territorial.
Territorial animal for whitetails. It's a doe during fawning season. No other deer is coming in there. No other deer is coming in there.
Mama Yo.
Well, I'm talking deer.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, they use the same animal.
whitetail. Sorry. Um, is those does between, I guess, the months of May until almost September. They really don't even link up with other members of their family group and start stacking up. I've what I've noticed in my observations. I don't see them really even starting to bring in other does into the group until at least like September.
So going back to what um Bo was saying, he goes less dough. Your bucks are going to travel further and run the risk of being shot by it. What's that window every year?
So for what do you mean for the? So go back to
Rough,
Bo's comment.
like bucks traveling and possibly getting shot off
Yep.
of your property if you have enough acres to hold them.
Hmm. And the right food source to hold them
What's your realistic window of that deer getting shot
by the neighbor.
from the beginning of season? Doesn't matter, by the neighbor, by you, whoever. By the beginning of season to the end of season, what's your window where that deer is the most vulnerable? How many weeks? How many days? How
Most
many?
vulnerable. The most vulnerable that deer is going to be is right around. I would say.
No, just
No.
weeks. Not like the date.
Well,
Like
I'm going to
the
go to
span,
dates.
the time
I'm going to
span.
go to
All right,
dates.
go from a
I'm
beginning
going to go
date
to
to an end
dates.
date,
So I guess our
and we'll add them up from there.
most susceptible is going to be the 10th of November on, typically in our area, based on what I typically see for the rutting activity in our area. Because when you're talking last part of October, those are all homebody core bucks. The ones that are there in the late October. The ones that you're going to get a crack at there is probably going to be your homebody core buck. You might get that one that's starting to move toward his rut window or whatever you want to call it, where it's that first 7 days of November is probably also going to be one of your core bucks or one of your bucks that's spending a good amount of his time in your property or neighborhood.
All right, so
Where you're getting
we're still
into,
in bow season, first 2 weeks of
oh
November.
yeah, yep,
We're still in bow season. Then
yep,
what? Where is it from there?
Bo's comment right there. And that time is rifle season. That third weekend, when after all of those majority of does get bred, that majority, 60+% probably get bred within the first 2 weeks of November. October and November, 60 some percent or better get bred. After that, it starts trickling around, and they have to get on and start looking and huffing. So after the 10th of November, which lines up typically during our rifle season, especially when we have an early rifle season like this year, I think a lot of bucks got killed that way. And it showed with what I was seeing trickling from neighboring folks and other ones that
So
bucks that
three
were
weeks
for their most susceptible.
out of the whole season, bucks are most susceptible to being killed.
November 12th to November 20th.
November 12th to November 20th.
I think so.
Yeah, but you just said that for 7 days. We'll say 3 weeks.
What do you mean first?
From November 1st
Yep,
to
about the 10th. They're safest. They're about the safest.
Well, I don't know if they're about the safest. November 1st to the 10th?
Mm-hmm.
No.
I think so.
That's just bow season.
No, I think they're the safest
I don't
because
think you
that's
understand what I'm trying to say. There's a window. And I agree with how you broke it down, the way I understood it. 3 weeks. 3 weeks, going off of Bo's comment.
mhm.
3 weeks, that buck is exposing himself the most.
Oh yes,
After
yes.
the highest possibility that that buck is going to get killed is within those 3 weeks. I would honestly put it a little bit further and say Halloween, like October 24th to that first weekend of rifle.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So you're going to spread it out.
And
to
then
about
you get
5.
the pressure on there.
Yeah, and more
So
hunters.
you get that 3 week span of where that buck is actually traveling and is possibly going to get shot. So when you're building your property, don't, you know, Bo, that 3 weeks is always going to be there. You're never going to get rid of that 3 weeks. What you're trying to do is kill him when you're laying out your property. You're trying to kill him before that 3 weeks and after that 3 weeks. Because whatever happens in that 3 weeks is completely
It's a roll of the dice.
It's completely out of your control. If he survives after those 3 weeks, you're building your property to bring him back.
Mm-hmm. Food.
There.
Yeah, food.
Bedding,
second rut.
Low pressure, and also in the beginning of the season, before those 3 weeks are just out the fucking window. They don't matter. You can't do anything with those 3 weeks. You're just out there trying to kill a nice buck at that point.
Oh, and it's magic, dude. There's magic in that 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, there is.
You never know who the hell is going to show.
Get me wrong.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Those are 3 great weeks to hunt. The best 3 weeks to hunt because you're going to have the most buck activity out of the whole season. But when it comes to you and a specific deer and trying to kill whatever
deer,
on your property, whether it's 60 acres, whether it's 500 acres, you need to build your property for before those 3 weeks and after those 3 weeks. Because that 3 weeks,
post-rut,
that rut, it's just out there.
Yep.
So that's the point I was trying to get across.
No,
so what Ben's talking about was putting the food and the bedding and the number of does. Well, if you have a certain amount of does on your property and they're hoarding your food, you get, okay, let's say you got a 5-acre food plot and you got 20 does out there every night. Well, a buck's not really going to hang out with them pre-season, after season. You might see him coming out there if it's the only food in the area.
Post-season, that's about it. Yeah, I mean,
he's not hanging out with the does. He's not bedding with the does at that point. He's not.
He'll come out there at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah,
after they're gone.
yeah. He don't want to be with them. He just wants to be with them when they're fun. So,
Yeah, better lack of a term. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
yep.
that's
Where
what
it's
he's
fun, or
doing.
he's got to fill his belly to
He
survive.
don't bed with them. He don't feed with them. He's hanging with the boys.
Yep.
He's hanging with the boys, and he's hanging with the boys. In between here, he's out chasing the women. It's and that's
It's a simple
so when you're
explanation of
building
it.
your property, the way I see it, the way you're going to be most successful and how you're going to hunt it, you got to build it for pre-rut and post-rut. The rut is the rut. It is
You're
just
gonna have one or two spots that are just dynamite, whether it's the
you got
pinch or the whatever, and that's the spot you sit, and that's how you hunt either side of it. You hunt like backside of food, front side of food, whatever way you want to look at it, morning or afternoon. In that pre-rut, when those first couple does are starting to trickle in, when those mature bucks, more to the point, those mature bucks know those first does come in that spot, that's where you kill your home body. That first kind of week in November, you can still get into some of them home bodies that know where
I
they're
would
going to
say the
be at.
first 2 weeks. I mean, don't tell me. I mean, even though they're consistent on food slash bedding and they haven't been bumped, they're still difficult to hunt.
Oh yeah, no doubt,
I would say that first 2 weeks, if you have a deer consistent and he's comfortable enough to actually come out of that bedding and
and
feed.
be around. Yeah, yeah. But I think where the biggest chance, kind of to answer your question, I thought the question you were asking was, where is that buck most susceptible to the neighbors? Not total susceptible. I just thought you meant to the neighbors.
Well, just in general.
I think. Well, I think he has.
He's most susceptible to the neighbors if your property's set up right. 3 weeks.
Yeah, he's right there at that tail end before he slots back on that food at the end, right there where
Because if you have your
he's
cover,
still looking for that last available doe, and he's out, putting on some miles maybe with a
but
front. That's where
bring the
he's
pressure
susceptible,
on opening weekend. Where's he gonna go? He's gonna go right back to where he was safe.
unless there's a good smelling tail.
I don't. Yeah. And then going back to the whole doe thing, also you want to try and build that property to what a buck wants and what a buck likes, because bucks and does like different things.
Yeah,
Buck, like what I said, bucks don't bed with the does when it's not the rut. I mean, yeah, every once in a while you see one with, but
those don't care,
that's why you
dude.
see those bachelor groups when those beans are nice and green and they're all out there nibbling on them beans, and it's just a bunch of you got 5 bucks out there together. Because they're hanging with the boys, they're bedding with the boys, they're partying with the boys all day long.
Summertime, yeah.
So when
Late
you
winter, summer, they're all buddied up most of the time.
okay, so if you have a limited amount of food on your piece and you have 20 does coming out to that food every night, you're not going to have bucks coming out to that food.
Unless one smells good.
Unless one smells good or the surrounding property around you is so pressured that's the only little safe haven he can have, and that's where he's going to go and feed.
Yep. So, like Bo said, crossbow season. Yeah, I
1 to
think
1.
it's like I
I
said.
don't think 1 to 1. I think like 2 3 to 1.
What's that? Crossbow season?
No, doe to buck ratio.
Oh, next.
His next.
Oh,
I
next
didn't even
question.
see his other one.
I think, like I said, Bo, I think that the best chance for neighbors, and historically this is also shown true, which probably might be shifting my answer to this. I think November 10th through probably it lines up too, but November 10th to November 20th is when most of the bucks get killed by the neighbors. The majority. Now, typically, that also lines up with opening day of gun
I
season,
mean, that
so
all
that
lines up with like camera pictures, though.
yeah,
Also,
yeah,
that November, I would say 8th, November 8th to gun season. Camera pictures are running pretty hot.
yeah. So,
But I'm also not in there.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And people that just gun hunt, if you got neighbors that just gun hunt, they're putting pressure on the outside and they're pushing them into you.
yeah.
So, I don't know. So what do you think
All right,
the
so
proper doe to buck ratio should be?
we don't shoot for ratio.
I mean, if
I
you
don't like that question because this is just my opinion because I'm simple, simple.
depends on what
I'm just a simple country boy from Wayne County. My thought on proper doe to buck ratio is, like I said, I've kind of fallen in line with that. 5 or more does, we drop one out of it, and if I can fit more individuals on a property in small groups, I'm okay with that. Because those are small groups that are on my property. Um, Now that, like Nate said, throwing the wrinkle in it, that might be hurting my antler potential, possibly, because we're not shooting enough total does. Totally possible that there's not enough food available, or they're out there, they're making too many babies. It's possible, dude. I'm not saying it's not. That's just where I'm at with it. I'm not gonna throw out a proper buck to doe ratio. Um, because again, at the same time,
you
most of
know,
the bucks, dude, are
you never.
broke up. I mean, you look at about every deer that I got on camera, everything's got something broke or chipped or something.
Got a lot of
A
women
lot of
and geese at
competition,
once.
and too. So I don't know about a proper buck to doe ratio.
I would. I mean,
I'll take a city,
if I,
or I'll do a blue moon because I know you won't bring those.
I mean, I like thinking of the ratio thing. I like thinking of that. I would say 3 does to 1 buck.
And I think that's
2 does to 1 buck.
yeah. I mean, a lot of folks say 1 to 1 for an elite
And
or whatever the
that's
hell.
crazy. Deer is a polygamous species. They're not putting a band on it and locking it
Well,
down.
well, well said with that. You're articulating tonight, sir.
I am an educated individual.
Um, yeah, I don't think you should shoot for 1 to 1.
No, 1 to 1's,
Um,
hey, right?
and again, dude, if you're on a small property, okay, let's look at the other extreme of this. If you're on a 10-acre or less property and you see one doe group of 4, probably should harvest your doe from another piece of property. If you're seeing one doe group on that property and then you shoot one doe out of that group and then go, where'd all my deer go?
I mean, this ties into exactly what's happening on the lease. I'm not shooting anything on it because all I'm seeing is a group of like 4 doe
Yeah, there's not
on
multiples
the
or a
right. Not
lot.
every time, or I'll
Hmm.
see maybe one, like a button buck scroll through
Hmm.
or whatever. The bucks are there and the other deer are there, but they're there
Off and on.
on the night
Yep.
under the cover of dark.
Yep.
When you gotta fluff Andy up,
I'm working down the list, dude.
who's fat corn?
Fat Corn. Don't know who you are, but thank you for tuning in. Quality of hunters surrounding your land is pretty big for me. I've got Amish that shoot at anything and a hunting camp full of old guys complaining about their knees.
Welcome to deer hunting
Hey, I
with
mean,
Grandpa.
quality of hunters makes a big difference on your realistic expectations of it too. Um,
I mean, if you got high pressure around you, I mean, I kind of feel that way around at a couple of the places I am. Pretty much all of the spots I have permission. I try and shoot for a 3.5-year-old. I think that's realistic. I don't think it's out of the question.
mhm.
Um, I guess it also their fat corn. It also depends on how much say you have in the property. I mean, if it's mainly you hunting it, you setting it up, you kind of organizing it, then
That's
yeah,
your
I would
call.
say 3.5-year-old. But I mean, if you're out there, possibly
Maybe it's 2. I mean, with his situation, it might be a 2.5-year-old. That might be the top buck.
you're gonna hunt. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. I mean, if your best buck is a 2.5-year-old, go out there and hunt him.
Yep. And I would
I'm not
say I
gonna
would say
bash. No one's gonna
also,
bash you for it.
you know,
Wow, I
yeah, there's
won't.
gonna be some, but
I won't.
no, I won't either. There's gonna be some folks that say, um, and I've dealt with this on the consulting side of it. They're like, dude, I want to kill 4.5-year-olds. I'm like, okay, great. What have you killed? Some of these folks might not even ever killed more than 1 or 2 2-year-olds. And it's just like it's a different game. shooting older deer. One, you got to have them
Yeah.
to kill them,
Mhm.
and to be able to kill them consistently, you got to have them. So, like Fat Corn's saying, maybe with the Amish pressure, the other hunting camp or whatever, um, maybe that bar gets put to two. And when I was first starting, it was my first benchmark was 100-inch deer. That was it. When I first started hunting, I was looking for 100-inch deer. I didn't know if it was 2 year old, 3 year old, whatever it was. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for 100-inch or better deer. Um, so that might be somebody else's benchmark. Now it depends on the property, the lease, grandmas. Those are typically like 3 year old plus properties that we're looking for
I
those
mean, if
bucks.
he's 100 inches, chances are he's 3 years old.
Yeah, yeah, that's also a good point. But I mean,
But
true.
I mean,
That's true.
you have your freaks out there.
You do have your wicked 2 year olds that
Yeah.
are, I've seen a 2 year old that went 130. I mean, it happens,
Yeah.
um, but yeah. So, and then the farm,
I don't.
we're still gunning for 4 year olds. That's our name game. We
If
got
he's,
some good neighbors. We got some good habitat. And we got a little bit of acreage.
I mean, if he,
So
and then if the deer's got trash around his bases slash on his points, I mean, he's probably not a 2 year old.
no,
They don't usually
no,
throw
no, no,
trash at two,
no. Some do, but not very
but
often.
not very often.
Yeah. So quality of hunters in the neighborhood you're in. To answer your question, Fat Corner, to kind of echo it, it's huge in deciding where your goals should be for that property. Let your stand observations tell you, let your scouting tell you. If you're not seeing a whole lot of buck sign, you might have a younger age class of bucks too. The older age class bucks you have, the more sign you're going to see. You're going to see more rubs. You're going to see more scrapes. You're going to see all that kind of, increased activity on the sign side too. So, use some of your woodsmanship. We say that word a lot. Haven't in the last couple shows, but got to use that woodsmanship.
Woodsmanship. See, this is an interesting comment. A lot of
Uh,
people disagree with this. A lot of old timers disagree with this.
Bo says, I believe the more acreage you have, the less doe you should have. The smaller acreage you have, the more does you should have on your property.
Depends on the acreage.
I'm gonna say it like this, and I hope this makes sense for folks. I would say your doe, if there was a calculation of doe per acre, DPA, I agree with what he's saying. Meaning, like we said before, if you have that 10-acre property, probably do not shoot a doe off of that property. Definitely don't shoot more than one off that property because you'll cut your population and your impact on that way down. Now, where you're looking at that doe per acre on, let's just say our property, 200 acres, it might be probably a lower percentage than that for does per 10 acres. You know, it might be lower on ours, let's just say. So I kind of agree with what Bo's saying. Um, for that less doe per acre kind of side of things. But at the same time, I think it's more important than your total population is where that population is and then how you set up, meaning your food, your bedding, your stand locations, but most importantly, because I'm going to say it, your access to be able to hunt that spot is the most important thing before you start saying your dose per acre or anything like that. If you don't have that good sound hunting plan with how you're going to hunt it to begin with, you can't even begin to start managing your does because if you're not hunting it the proper way with your access or way you're getting in there and out of there to your stands, you're just pushing deer off and you're making your property a repellent rather than attracting, holding, and then successfully hunting those deer. So I think I agree with what Bo's saying with your does per acre being less on a larger parcel versus more on a small or let's just say micro parcel under 20 acres. Um, I think that's a good point. Is I would rather have more does on that 20 acres or multiple food sources on that 20 acres for multiple doe families. I would try to still have it very much blotted or island with multiple food sources rather than one food source still on 20 acres. Um, there's not a magic formula or magic bullet, dude. Every property is different the way it lays out. And that's what people got to understand is they look for a a buck to doe ratio. They look for how many acres of food should I have. It all depends on how your property lays out with the topography, your access, your equipment, your time, your budget. I mean, all that comes into play with it.
Time and budget, you can make anything.
Time and budget, yeah. Well, but I've also seen people that just try to throw money against a wall with no plan, and it don't stick worth it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Been there, done that, seen that, consulting, and they still say spend more money. You don't want to pay me to consult? Fine. Just have me plant more food. See what happens. Andy says alpha doe will kick their buck fawns out of the property, shoot the alphas. I've always been a biggest doe of the group, mostly because of the yield of venison off of that doe. Sometimes the alpha in the group might not be the biggest doe in the group. I look for like the biggest, the most attentive, or I guess whatever you want to call it, the sharpest looking one of the bunch.
Yep, that's the one that's gonna bust me.
That's the one
that's gotta go.
Yeah, or the one that does bust me or hangs around a little bit too long. That's also the one that goes. So good point, Andy. Bo says for hunting. Yeah, so for the
That's why we're here, Bo.
yeah, exactly for the he means for the less does on bigger acres.
Yeah, I know.
He's kind of making a second comment on that. Yeah, I think that's a good point, and I hope I explained that well. That like having a food source and having multiple does relate to that food source, if it is of the proper size, is huge. And not letting that doe group, because when we first started managing the property, we had maybe 3 food plots or whatever it was, and the does, we saw a lot of deer. And until we started breaking up those doe groups, the buck hunting was not as successful. I mean, if you look at the last probably 5 to 7 years is when I've killed over half of my bucks. Probably, I'd have to do the tally, but I've killed over half my bucks in the last 5 years, based on how we've kind of changed and got it to the point to be that successful. The way we manage it, the way we track the data with the trail cameras on the 1 year rule for some of the bucks. I mean, DONO was a 1 year 6-pack. Also, fun fact: the day I went in there to hunt DONO is the morning I killed 6-pack, and guess who showed up an hour after we fucking left with 6-pack? Guess who came strolling through the food plot? DONO. Literally, an hour after we picked that motherfucker up, took pictures, Owen yelling up in the woods.
Brian's over there scaring my deer.
Scaring my deer, Owen. Hour later, who comes rolling right across where I just shot 6-pack? DONO. Guess who shows up on the 1 year rule? DONO.
1 year.
Yeah. Happens. I think that's a good place to end it tonight. Hour 19, a little bit longer than normal.
I didn't realize we were going that long. I know we were rolling. Dude, I looked at it, was like an hour and 10. I was like, wow.
Dude, the conversations were good. The
comments
let's
fluff
were good.
Andy at the end.
Fluff Andy.
We got to fluff Andy. He's probably sleeping already.
All right, Andy.
He still owes me a pheasant hunt or something.
Owes you a pheasant hunt?
Well, he doesn't owe me one. He invited me on one and I couldn't make it. Andy, let's do a pheasant hunt in like February.
Here we go.
Can we do a pheasant hunt in February? You can hunt pheasants all year round, right?
I think it depends on
the preserve.
Yeah, I think it depends on where you're hunting.
If it's a preserve, you can just go hunt anytime.
So
there he is. This is. You gotta show us 200 too.
There we go. So I got that. So Andy will give you the shout out for the nice buck. He actually might be wearing those are the white tassels. That might be the.
He said he wears his lucky hoodie.
Yeah,
He says he wears it.
yeah. So Andy's solid buck there in the
It's always
snow
a
camo.
it's always a contraband hoodie. That's a lucky hoodie.
Yep, the contraband is the lucky hoodie, and
I don't
then
think it is. But maybe.
oh, that's my pistol.
There's a pistol. Oh,
There's Andy's big guy.
there it is. We got 4 drops.
Or whatever. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4. 200-inch mega.
Andy, oh yeah, hold on. Don't pass up that dough with the double throat.
I like the dough with the double throat.
That's beautiful
Love
dough.
it. Love it. Love it. And then, by the way, if anybody was wondering, this is the pistol. If my wife's still
I think
watching,
Thompson Center was the original.
contender. Yeah,
I believe
the
the Thompson
contender.
Center was the first one to come out with a pistol.
The contender one and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah. Oh, bull. Jesus,
Went
yeah.
this weekend, he says.
Went this weekend.
Bo's hitting it hard.
I love it. Ian says, "Good cast, fellas." Thanks, Ian. All right, Bo. This is the last roll for the night. I'm looking at this from a perspective of larger properties with small doe populations. On those properties, bucks would need to travel more across the land to find does. However, on a small property, say 50 acres, I would focus on keeping as many does as possible on that land. That way, bucks don't have to travel as far to locate does, increasing your chances of spotting them on your property. Yes, but you need space for those bucks to also be on that property. You can't just fill it up with
Yeah,
does.
but
I mean, if you're hunting rut, I mean that's
if you're hunting the 3 weeks.
yeah.
If you're hunting the 3 weeks.
Take it, Nate. Preach,
Preach.
preach, my brother.
Yes, I like that concept. If you're just gonna hunt that 3 weeks. I would focus on keeping as many does as possible on that land. I mean, that's kind of on the smaller acre thing. I don't know. Ben doesn't like the ratio thing, even though he likes to break it up into 5 doe groups. It's still kind of a ratio thing. But if you want to bring in more bucks and you have all of those doe on your property, on your 50 acres, you have a 3-week window of killing one. Because after that 3 weeks, it's gone. They're going back to where the boys like to hang out and the boys are eating. After you have 3 weeks to get it done. After that, you have to you. It doesn't matter whether it's 50 acres, in my opinion, or 200 acres. You just have to set it up to what are you doing? To hold bucks. Set it up for the boys. Set it up. What do male deer want? Set it up like
Security,
that.
safety,
Security, safety,
and a little bit
and
of
you know
tail
what?
once in a
And you
while.
know what? It actually works out better for you because does bring a herd, which means you have to feed a herd. Do I gotta give you the Heimlich?
Just got some phlegm. Sorry.
Oh, and then bucks. What are you gonna have? 6 deer? I'm just saying, you're gonna have a lot bigger window to kill them deer if you set it up for pre-rut and post-rut over your 3-week window. Because
You
once
know,
gun season rolls around, especially in this area, just forget it.
I'll also. I'm saying that good bucks are most killable by me. I guess
By
meaning
me, best bucks are killable by Ben. Just bring Ben in.
meaning like what Nate said in that pre-rut time period, that last week of October, the first week of November, and then that post-rut right now, end of November into December, January. If you have
The
it set
buck
up right,
bedding, if you have
the food,
the buck set, the food,
the security,
the security, that you will have the bucks on your property.
100%. And I'm just going around the wall right now. You know how many bucks I've killed with a doe
You
that was
wanna?
specifically with a doe? Killed 15 of them now. DONO was number 15.
I bet you 1, 2. Exactly. You know how hard it is to kill a buck in the rut? They're moving. They are
The
running.
most consistent I kill my deer is that last week of October, first week of November. I
On food.
kill the homebody bucks relating to those does on food or on food in general. It all comes back around food. I mean, the does are great, but the more does you pack in a property, you will not hold older bucks on that property during that pre-rut period, typically, because there's no space for them to be. They're going to be someplace else. You'll hit them, you'll hit that deer typically after probably the 5th, 6th, 7th of November when he comes off of that first doe from where he lives, where he's got space, where he can come around and say, hey, I'm going to push that 1 year old, that 2 year old, I'm going to push him off of that doe. That I kind of hang on the edge of that property, but that's when I'll go back in there. After I go to my girl that comes in October 28th.
What you also need to understand, which some people might not, we're still going, is a doe is in heat for 48 hours, roughly.
Yep. 2
That
days.
means she can get bred by like 10 different bucks.
Many dudes want to go in there. As many as she'll stand for. Literally.
So he's occupied over here. He's breeding her. He's done with this one. He's searching for another one. Gets downwind of this one, comes over, pushes that buck off, and he breeds that one.
Yep. And he'll stay with her until she won't stand for him anymore. And then he'll bump off. But
It's like a divorce in the deer world.
Give you this interesting stat that came out of National Deer Association, and forgive me if I got my numbers a little bit off, but 30 to 40% approximately of twin fawns
Do not carry the same father.
have a different father. Blow your mind. Polygamous species.
Polygamist.
Yep.
They
So,
are very polygamist.
all right. Next podcast, we're going to discuss how to keep bucks on your property. Bo, right with you. Thank you.
I like it.
Hour and a half in. Thank you all for tuning in for the whole show. If you
Make
guys
sure
hung
you
in,
take a note of this so
yep,
we can continue. This is a good conversation.
I do like this. So, how to specifically keep bucks on the property next episode, and we have a special guest next episode, which you'll have to tune in to find out who that is.
Dahmer?
No, not Dahmer. One person less than we know.
One person less than what we know.
Yeah, Dahmer's out. It's not Dahmer. So one person less than we've had on the show before. They've been on the show before. That's all we're going to give you. Sorry. So, thank you, Bo. Thank you, everybody else. Andy, Ian, Fat Corn.
Yeah, bad
Just going up the thing. Keith, Hannah, Kayla, or Kaylin, sorry. Kaylin, sorry. Russell, and all the other folks tuning in but not commenting in. We appreciate you. And thank you so much for helping us.
Keith, if you're still tuning in, Ben's going to trade 2 does for that pistol.
Done. I will
2
shake
does
on
for
that.
that pistol is a solid deal.
I will take that deal all day long. So,
damn good deal.
Damn good deal.
You take that deal? Damn good deal. I take that deal.
All right, guys. We'll catch y'all next time down here with 100 Proof Whitetails. See ya.